Okay, so we already did this one. Let's see. Last week we also have the filter. Okay, there's one. This one. Okay, let me check if it is working or not. So last week we want to call one. We want to call one function. Okay, so if you use get, if you still remember, okay, get. What does it mean by get? We will just get only one object. Okay, so if there are more than one, then it will show errors. Okay, so if I call this one pk1, so I want to check the primary key 1, and then let's see. Yeah, last week we cannot run this because I have not restarted the shell. Okay, you can see that the result is false. Why it is false? Based on this function was published recently. This is from the models. We have one function was published recently. So we want to know if the publication date, this is the date, is higher or equal to the time zone dot now minus by time delta minus 1. So what is the time delta? Time delta is 1. It means I want to know if the publication date is more than or this is, maybe I can show you like this one. Okay, so let me call again. Maybe I need to start it. So I need to call again from the question, and then let me make an object from the primary key 1, and then let me call the method. So I want to know if the time now is, this is the time, the current time, which is April 11 today, minus by 1 day. Okay, minus by 1 day, it means it is 11 and minus 1, so which is higher than 10. Okay, so if it is higher than 10, then yeah, we will make it true, but if it is not, then it is false. So we already learned about this SQL. This is not the SQL from the database, but this is from the shell, okay, from the DB shell. And we are going to use those in the next section. Now let's suppose we have a new column. So I want to change the DB schema. I already have the DB, but I want to extend the DB by giving a new column, which is this line. Let me copy and paste this one. So this column, this new column will be in the table choice. So we use the models, that model, it is the template from the Django. So whenever you make a models, you need to call the models.model. So this is the database embedded in Django. So in the choice, I would like to make one more column. So the column is this line. We have the question which is connected to the previous one, and then choice text, it is the answer for every question. Puts means, let's say some users like this answer. The URL means the answer from the users, let's say the link or anything about the URL, and dislike. So let's say this is the integer number if someone do not like the answer. We can see that the default is 0. And when you create this data, original value will be 0. So after you have this new update, please do those things. Okay. It is important to run the make migration and also migrate. So if you finish with that one, the new column has been set up, and then again you can check with the Python shell. So let me go to the terminal. So if you see the terminal is this form. Whenever you use this terminal, so you need to type with the Python manage.py something. Okay. In order to make it short, so you don't need to call the Python manage.py every time. You can just run the tools and run manage.py task. So this is to replace the Python manage.py. Whenever you write Python manage.py, you can just omit it and you can just do with this one. Means you can just to make migration. To make migrations, you can include the name. Yeah. Now you have only one app. It's simple, so you can just use the app name. Or if you do not write any app, then it will make migration for all apps automatically. Yeah, it's up to you. You want to define your app names, or if without that name, then it is also fine. And you can see there is one additional field. We add the field dislike to choice. So there is a new file 0002 choice dislike.py. It is in the migrations. After we do the migrate, so it creates a new file, or this is a new class, and this class add the table, add a field dislike into the table choice. And the field is using the integer field with default equals to 0. So after you do the make migration, you can migrate So everything is set up in the database and this authentication. And you can look at the table FAQ choice. And you will see that all the data, which is the default 0, has been created. And this is the new slide. You can also look at the new column in the Python shell. Okay, so in the Python shell, so let's say let me make this one. In the Python shell means the Python console. Let me stop and then let me run again. So here I have the import from question and choice. And let's try to figure out what is the choice. Okay, so in the choice, there are 3 objects. Please find the URL, not much, and just checking again. So these are the object. And if you want to know the value, and then you want to make it as a list, value list. Oh, well, so sorry. Values list. Choice dot objects dot values list. Okay, I missed the S. Then you can see this is object 1. This is the object 1, and then this is question ID. And then we have the answer or the choice text. Please find the URL. And then this is the number of votes. And this is the number of dislike. And this is the link URL. And if you go to the right one, then you will see all the things from the object 1 and 2 and 4. And then, yeah, if you want to check only the object values, yeah, the object values will give you also the column name. The ID equals to 1, the question ID 1, choice text is this one, votes equals to 0, URL equals to this one, and dislike equal to 0. Okay, so I hope that by now you know what is the difference between values and values list. Now, I want to make a simple example how you can put all the data into the web. You already have the data in the database, but now how can we show it in the web? As you may know that whenever we do the front end or the HTML, so we need to make views, URL, and then HTML. Okay, so those 3, please remember that. So first is view. Okay. In the views.py, in the folder FAQ, let's write 2 functions for each of the model. Okay, so I will copy this copy and paste on this files. So you can see in the folder FAQ, there is one file, views.py. So in this case, I want to see the list of questions and I want to see the list of choice. The list of questions will show you all the objects from question. And I want to show the result into the variable questions. And I want to use these variable questions. So later on, when I run this HTML, I can look at the questions. The same with this question. So in the choice, I would like to check the choice, but now I'm going to filter the choice. So let's say I want to see all the answer when the question ID equals to the ID. So we have one parameter, which is the ID. So if the question is 1, then I want to see only question ID 1. If I want to see the second question, then the question ID will be question ID number 2. And then what are the results? It will be saved into this variable choice. And the variable choice will be forwarded into this choice.html. So that's the meaning by the code. So this is the views.py. Now, let's make the urls.py. Okay, in the urls.py, I think you need to create urls.py in the folder FAQ. Let's make a new Python file, urls.py, and then put this code. So it means that if we call this file, if the path is nothing, we will call the list questions. If there is a number on it, then we will call the list choice. And the list choice will have one parameter, which is the ID. Okay, this is already predefined because in the list choice, we need to have one ID. ID is number, and we define it as integer. Okay, so this is integer ID. If you want to change to str, this is also possible. Or if you want to change to float, this is also possible. But I think I will not recommend using float. So string or integer is still fine. And then let's make one more path in the URLs in the parent folder. Okay, your URLs in the parent folder means this one. We need to include the FAQ. So we will include the FAQ by calling the FAQ.urls. Note that there's an error here because we need to call the function include. So if we include the FAQ.urls, we need to call the URLs from the Django, and we want to call the FAQ.urls. So it will go to this part. And then let's make the list quest.html. Okay. The list quest.html, let's create it in the folder templates. let's create it in the folder templates. This quest.html. So let me replace with the code that I give in the PowerPoint. So let me explain a little bit later about this. And then next, let's have another HTML, which is listchoice.html. Okay, after you have those two files, now let's run it. Oh, I need to run this. So I can go to the FAQ. Okay. Yeah, I make a simple HTML. Of course, you can improve the front end later. Now, there's one question. Where is neighbor? Okay, so this is a question that has been posted on April 4. This is another question, what's up? Which is posted also in the April 4. And then this is another question that has been posted also in the April 4. Now, I want to check the choice. It means I want to check the answer. So if you click this one, you will see that here. What is it? Now you will see there is one, that's number 1. So number 1 means this is from the question number 1 that I just clicked. And then it will connect to the answer to that particular object. So in this case, I want to know what is the answer when the question is where is neighbor. So this is the answer. Please find the URL. So this is the URL. If there is an answer not much, so this is the answer. And then if the answer is just hacking, then this is the answer. So let's look at the HTML. In the question, okay, we have the title frequently asked question, and then we are doing the for loop. What is the question here? Questions is the result from question.objects.all. What is the result when you do that one? Question.object.all. So we will see all the objects in a list. And we know that if we want to check the details of those objects, we can do the for loop. For I in questions, then this I will be a loop for every of the object from the questions. So this is the first object, where is neighbor. And then this object, I want to get the question text. So we already know if the question dot objects dot get, let's say the first one, and I can make, let's say this is the Q1. So I can call Q1 dot question text. Q1 dot question text means where is neighbor. So this is the same with that one. I dot question text. I want to get the question text. And then I want to get the publication date. Now, when I want to connect to the link, so there's it's ref. So this is a reference to another link, and I want to call the list choice. What is list choice? In this case, we call the name list choice. The list choice is a function list choice, and we want to include i.id. What is this ID? This is the ID from the questions. That's why when we click on this ref, it will go to the list choice, and the ID also will be on the list choice. And then we go to the list choice. So I in choices. So what is I? I is any object from the choices or from the selected choices. If you look at the fuse DY, the choices are the result from choice objects filter question ID equals to ID. So if we include ID once, then it will call all the objects when the question ID equals to 1. Then we will put all of them into the choice, and we want to print it on the HTML. Okay. I hope that you understand until this part. So we want to get the choice text, and then the href is just showing what is the URL from the table choice, and this is also the URL from the table choice. Yeah, I don't have any answer for the check choice number 2, so it just blank. Yeah. I have no answer for the choice number 3. It is also blank. So if I click on this one, then it goes to question ID number 1, and it shows 3 answers. So here it is also 3 answers from question ID number 1. Okay. Okay, so that's the thing that we learned. So in the what we learned until now is the model, which use the SQLite. So all the data we use here is from the SQLite. And the fuse, okay, we want to fuse the relevant functions to connect to the HTML. So in this case, we just want to show the question and the choice. And templates. So templates with the relevant HTML files. We can show all the data in the HTML files. Okay, you already learned those things in this section. How we can configure the DB. So you can define the model, and then you install the model. How we can access the data. How we can insert and update the data using the Python shell. How you can select the object, delete object, making changes on the DB schema, connecting to the Django admin, and displaying the data into HTML. So this is the reference. Okay, then let's have a break. I will continue after the break.